Man, it's a hot day. I'm sort of sweaty. I don't know if you can tell, but like, yeah, look how fucking greasy this shit is. But yeah, whatever. That's exactly what I wanted to talk about today, like whatever essentially, because I feel like I connect the word whatever to the concept of Taoism, which for the little that I've seen of it, I guess it's good enough for me because that's where the flow wanted to take me to. I'm not claiming to be like an expert or anything like that. I've only more so extensively started looking at it like, yeah, more so recently. So yeah, I'm just gonna do my best to, I guess, I don't want to think of it as like paraphrasing, but I guess like give you the experience of something that I thought was to be understood about something that is, I guess trying to tell you that it's just an experience. Because that, I guess, is essentially what life is. It's a flow, it's a stream, and it can go up or it can go down. It doesn't really matter. But I guess we as people fall into our own unnecessary traps when we think to ourselves that we have to place like certain boundaries and like structure to things. Like, why? Why look at yourself from your past experience when here you are right now? If you, I guess, I don't know, are repeating the same problems from before, and maybe you tell yourself, oh, I need to learn something. I don't know. Is that really the case, or is that where you just need to be? Because if you understand how things just like flow naturally, there's no correct way to actually do something. So, sure, you can say that you're falling into the same mistakes again, but I don't know. Maybe that's where you need to be. Because if not, we all know where this essentially goes to, just some sort of like self destruction, and I guess in a way our death. So I guess that's the only thing I can make sense clearly in terms of like a structure. Okay, I was born, we were born, and now we're all just gonna die one day. Everything here right now are things that can just happen simply just because they can. And I don't know, I'm reminded of something that Bruce Lee said when he was like, yeah, empty your mind, be formless, shapeless, like water. You put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. No, water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend. And if there's something to learn from that, there isn't, I guess. Because if you're formless, I don't know, maybe yesterday was a bad day, the other day before that was a bad day, or maybe it was a good day, it just doesn't matter. Because regardless of whether you choose to fixate on whatever the fuck happened in your past or what might happen into your future, all you're facing is right here, right now. And when you realize that there's actually something of a stillness right now, then yeah, the universe does surrender to you. I believe that's a quote that like Lao Tzu said, yeah, to the still mind, the universe surrenders to you. Because like right here, right now, I'm just sitting, I'm filming this video. I could be thinking of like a whole bunch of things. Let's say what happened before to me or what might happen to me. It doesn't matter because no matter how hard I think about it, I can only focus on something right when it happens to me. And I guess that's what I understand about like incorporating what a flow is supposed to be in your life, because yeah, it's a flow, it has no real structure, and you go with the flow whether you want to or not, because things are just ongoing. Everything in your past you can't undo, or you can't ever experience again unless you have some sort of like time machine or whatever. But like even then, can you not argue that if you had a time machine and you went to the past, you still had to go through this state where, okay, you couldn't go back to something, but now you have the opportunity to go back to something. So in a way, it's still all connected, even if you just put yourself in another location. So you can keep repeating a cycle of being stuck, but like that's what it is. It's just going through the notions of like being stuck. You're not even actually stuck, because where you are stuck is just your interpretation, your idea of the thing at hand as to whatever is holding you back. If you think, oh, maybe there's some sort of like trauma I need to get over, oh, maybe there's something I need to learn from, but like, okay, but why though? Doesn't like, it doesn't really matter, because like, things are just happening as they do, and that's what it is. Like I think like that, like that's what language is essentially. They're just like random labels. It doesn't even matter. Like when you can call somebody colorblind just because they don't see blue or red the same way as you do, you guys are all still technically looking at the same thing. The only difference is that like, oh, I prefer this label. But the whole thing you can say about anybody in general is that we're all just going through the motions, and at least for certain, if there is anything, the only thing we know is that like we're gonna die. So everything here is essentially just, I guess I would say, some form of like illusion. There's no real truth to all of it. So when we fixate on our ideas, like, yeah, that's all it is, fixating. Because when you're right here, right now, you just realize that in actuality, it's just a blank canvas. Like, why are there memories still circulating your mind? Because you feel the need to put something there? No, actually, you don't have to. You can just be here, be present, and just be Zen. But then again, you don't have to. But I think what there is to understand about that is that, you are never trapped as much as you think, I guess. Because as you go forward, and that's all there is going forward, and you might think, oh, it seems like that is the future, that is anticipating, but like, no, it's not. Because trying to reach your dreams, trying to do this, trying to do that, it's still a roll of the dice, is it not? Sure, there might be chances that you'll get it, but it's like, yeah, that's all it is, essentially. Chances. And if you're meant to go up, not even meant, I guess, I don't even know why I used that word. It's just, I just mean to say that if that's where the process takes you to, then yeah, that's where the process took you to. Nothing more, nothing less. You can try to, make it sound like something more accomplishing in your mind, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter, I guess, because we're here right now, and the truth is, nothing is happening. So in a way, we've absorbed the world, and you just see through it as like some sort of facade that isn't actually meant to be pieced together in any sort of way. Like as I formulate my words and formulate like the things that like I'm saying, all of like my contemplation, I just know I'm doing it simply just because I can. And that's where you live in this paradox. But like that's great. Because I guess when you get action, there comes inaction, and they all have to complement each other. I guess if I'm sitting here right now, there's only two options. I either sit here or I don't. And even if there's anything in between, okay, it just happened. It's all gone and it's over. So if at any point you're trying to, like, I guess make some sort of imaginary fictional start slash finish, it doesn't matter, because you can kind of just put the start anywhere you want. Are, I don't know, your 20s the greatest like moments in your life, your 30s, 40s, like whatever. They're just unnecessary labels. You'll never get it back, even though you already experienced it like once. You'll never get it back because you're always here. And once you experience something, it's dead and it's gone. Just like you will be dead and gone. But that's okay, because if it never felt real, or even if you think it's real, you just, yeah, that's all it is just going through the motions. Going through the motions and making up arbitrarily defined explanations in terms of what those motions are. But all it is are actions. All it is are things happening. And whatever you place upon that is, I guess, I don't know, simply just bias. And your bias can comfort you, or I guess it can hold you back. But if it does comfort you, that's done too. If it does hold you back, then that's done as well. Because I know that as we go and as we like flow, all we're gonna do is fade. And hypothetically, if we don't, we just have to go through that anyway. You're always going through stuff, regardless of whatever it is you wanna call it. Maybe even say going through death, going through a state of like never existing. You just keep going forward. So in a way, the universe drops everything in front of you and it just takes it right back. So, let go, be free, and just coast, because you never had a choice. And when you realize that you're constantly just walking, running, falling, going in that direction, going in this direction, It all just keeps going, and then it all just stops. So you start and you go, you start and you go, and that is the course of an entire life, regardless of what it is. It starts, it finishes, it starts, it finishes, and you can try your best to recreate it as much as you want. You can rationalize it in your mind as like much as you want in terms of, I guess, how it helps you or how it brought you down or how it, I don't know, because we as humans, I feel, have like an unnecessary need for attachment towards ourselves, and we don't even realize it's the only thing that's like holding us back. Because if we hypothetically just accept the notion that this is where we are, just in this like current moment, and it's all just like empty, there's nothing to plaster over it, nothing good, nothing bad. So essentially, I think in a way we could all just peacefully just wait for death, if you can even consider that waiting, because it was never up to me to be born, it was never up to you to be born, and you know, you didn't make the rules of the universe where we all just have to like, you know, fade away and die. But I guess we can just watch and observe, and that is enough for consciousness, I guess. I don't know, you could lose all your limbs, but I guess like if you can still see, if you can still sense in like any way whatsoever, you enter new information and then it's gone. Yeah, and I think that's how you can think of like a flow. It just enters information and then it's gone. So no attachments. If you think there are attachments, then you can leave whenever you want, because after you get something, you'll never get it back. So I don't know what I was actually trying to say, or regardless of what I was actually trying to say, I still said it. So yeah, you can go back to it, or you can not go back to it if you decide to like ever watch this again. But I suppose what comes around goes around, and then again, that doesn't really matter. I guess people like to say you get back what you give, or you give what you get back. I don't know exactly. And I think we'll spend most of our lives saying that anyway. I don't know. And even just have a false sense of safety, an illusion of like safety. The only reason I'm saying that our safety is like a false sense and a false illusion, because our danger, perhaps, is also a false sense and like a false illusion. Why must we insist that there is a waking point or some sort of like epiphany moment? Who cares? It's just stuff happening. Yeah, it's just stuff happening. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. So, you know, go with the flow, whatever.